the pastor, to our elect lady, to everyone here today. Thank God for my life, health, and strength. Thank God for everything He's done, everything He's going to do. Thank God for allowing us to be here one more time on a Father's Day. Now that sounds more like it. You can put it on pause. You can put it on pause. To be here, thank God for allowing Him to be raised up one more time to be with us. Thank God for, like you said, not just the nursing and the doctors that was at the hospital. Thank God for those that were for the outpatients. Sister Logan and her crew. Her release back. Thank God for it. Thank God, like I said, happy Father's Day. And thank God for those who are fathers. Thank God for you all being here to celebrate and worship God with us. Let us get ready to pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord, for allowing us to come together one more time to praise and magnify your name, God. You're worthy to be praised, God. We lift you up, you belong, God. God, we ask you, Lord, to let me be out the way, God. Move me out the way, God. You be seen, you be revealed, God, through this message right now. In the name of Jesus. And say about everything you stand for. If my name is proud, my name is confusion right now. In the name of Jesus. And Lord, we speak, God, for the attentive ears, God. Help us, God, to focus on what you say, God. And help us, God, to retain it and apply it to our lives right now. In the name of Jesus, we bind every distracted spirit, bind every hindering spirit, bind every pain, mentally, physically, emotionally, psychologically, anything that could be a disruption from the floor of God right now, and the will of the word of God right now. In the name of Jesus, Lord, we thank you, Lord, for your perfect will being done, God. We thank you, Lord, for the souls being saved, God. We thank you, Lord, for the souls being ministered to right now, in the name of Jesus. And we give you the glory and the honor and the praise. In Jesus' name we pray. We say amen, amen, amen. Amen. You can turn with me to Proverbs, the 3rd chapter. Proverbs, the 3rd chapter. Like I said, thank God for those who are here. Thank God for those who had a desire to come but couldn't come. Thank God for those who didn't have a desire to come, didn't want to come. No matter what, thank God for God allowing us to be here. Once again, Proverbs, the 3rd chapter. We're going to start at the first verse. If you need a few minutes, you can say, hold on. Those who have, say, I have. Okay. I'm going to read from the New King James, if you don't mind. Once again, Proverbs, the 3rd chapter, starting at the first verse. We're going to read verses 1 through 9. And it reads like this, said, my son, do not forget my law, but let your heart keep my commands. For a length of days and long life and peace, they will be added to you. Let not mercy and truth forsake you. Bind them around your neck. Write them on the tablet of your heart. And so find favor and high esteem in the sight of God and man. Verse 5, it says, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. Do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and depart from evil. It will be health to your flesh and strength to your bones. Honor the Lord with your possessions and with the first fruit of all your increase. I'm going to stop right there. In Proverbs, the 3rd chapter, we see that David is having a father and son talk with his son Solomon. He shows a close personal relationship with his statement, my son, which he used twice, and in the 2nd chapter and on the 3rd chapter. But he says, my children, in the 4th chapter. Chapter 2 through 4 of Proverbs he talks about the path of wisdom, which leads to life. But the way of folly leads to death. When you walk on the path of wisdom, you encourage 3 wonderful promises. The wisdom protects your path. Talk about chapter 2. The wisdom directs your path. Talk about chapter 3. And chapter 4, it says that wisdom perfects your path. In chapter 2, David talks about 3 walks. Verses 1 through 9, he talks about the importance of walking with God. Verses 10 talk this about chapter 2. Chapter 2, verses 10 through 19, he talks about the consequences of walking with the wicked. Chapter 2, verses 20 and 22 talk about the blessings of walking with the righteous. Chapter 3 talks about the requirements to meet. Chapter 3, verses 1 through 4, we must learn God's truth. The Word will reveal God's will for your life. You can write down Colossians 1, verses 9 and 10. In other words, you must study the Word of God. Chapter 3, verses 5 through 8. It talks about obey God's word. And he has directed your path if you obey. He shall direct your path. He shall make your pathway straight if you obey him. Also it says trust. Trust means to lie helplessly down. Face down. In other words, you be dead weight. When you think about for those who swim, I can't swim. But for those who swim, whoever have had to be a lifeguard, what they tell you when you see somebody that needs to be rescued, when it's a baby, you can grab hold to them and bring them to safety. But they say adults are hard to rescue because why? Because they resist and they're fighting. Even though they are in fear for their life. So what does the lifeguard have to do? They have to knock them out. They have to knock them out so that way they can submit to the will of the lifeguard. So the same thing that God wants us to do. God wants us to be helpless. We can rely and also what we're talking about today, trusting him totally. So chapter 3, verses 9 and 10, it talks about share God's blessing. That means give God your very best. Oftentimes the very best was always the first. Giving God the first fruit. Chapter 3, verses 11 through 35, it talks about enjoy God's blessing. And last but not least, chapter 4 sums up wisdom perfects our walk. In other words, get wisdom. That means when he said the word get wisdom, what he had in mind was a purchase, like commerce. There's an exchange. You purchase, which means that there is a price. But it's worth the price if you pursue wisdom. There are some of the teachings that David, the father, was given to his son. Which leads us to today's message. Today's message is entitled, Father Knows Best. Father knows best. Now, no offense, but today, being Father's Day, we're going to speak about the males. Thank God for those single mothers who unfortunately had an absentee biological father. But what we're going to do, we're going to address the males, because before we can turn this world right side up, we first got to start with the men. So as we honor the fathers and the men, we're going to encourage them, but also we're going to challenge them. challenge us. Father Knows Best. Father Knows Best was a very popular TV show.
That's right.
It was popular in the 1950s.
Right.
And the family, their names were the Andersons. And the Andersons, there was the father, his name was James Sr., nicknamed John. Excuse me, Jim. The mother, Margaret. They had two daughters, one named Betty, which her nickname was Princess. And we had Kathy, which her nickname was Kitty. And then there was one son, James Jr. His name or nickname was Bud.
That's right.
Whenever the children would have a problem or just needed advice or a little word of comfort, a little encouragement, they would often go to Daddy. They would go to Daddy for his wise counsel, for his encouragement, for his advice. And so when we look at Proverbs, our focus is the third chapter, even though we kind of summed up the seventh, the third, and the fourth because they go together. But when we look at the life of that father that was counseling his son, Solomon, his name was David. David was recognized as the greatest king. But if you notice, the greatest king raised the wisest man. But let's talk about David. Was David perfect? No, he wasn't. Y'all know the story of David. Was David flawless? No, he wasn't. Did David have a little sin in his life? Yes, he did. But even though David was not what you would call the ideal husband, or to some people he was not the ideal man. But even though he made those mistakes, he sinned, God still said he was a man after his own heart. So what we're going to talk about, let's look at some of the qualifications from David's life that helped him to be in a position to be able to talk to his son and his children like he did. When you look at the life of David, it let us know that true leaders or true men are often overlooked. When you look at David as a child, he was in the house of Jesse. And when the man of God came to the house to anoint the king, he went to all through Jesse's boys. The biggest, the one that looked like they fitted the position. Even though they may have looked like they fitted the position from the exterior, still, they were not the one. To the man of God, ask Jesse, do you have another? Yeah, I have the smallest boy. He up there, the little shepherd boy, he playing with the sheep. Can I see him? And when he saw him, he said, he's the one. Also, if you look at Joseph in Genesis, Joseph was overlooked by his brothers. So when you look at the other criteria, true men have had great conflict in their life. Great conflict, great adversity. David fought Goliath. He had the biggest fight in his life to that point. And then after he fought Goliath, the giant, then he ended up fighting for his life when he was dealing with Saul. So great men, great leaders have conflict in their life. Great men, true leaders, will admit fault when they are wrong or have sinned. Psalms 32 reveals David's repentance and sorrow over his sin. David was a man who grieved over his sin and longed to know God with a deeper passion. David was a man who desired to be holy, to be like God. He was a man after God's own heart. These are the things that God desired for us. Another thing, as true men, as true leaders, we are willing to accept responsibility for our actions. He was willing, David was willing to give up his own life to stay in God's hands of judgment on Israel, because he knew that he was really responsible for the nation's sinful actions. That's coming from 2 Samuel 24:17. This is what made him a man after God's own heart until the day he died. Another characteristic from David, David was a worshiper. David was a praiser. David was an anointed musician, an anointed worshiper. David even played the spirit out of Saul, the evil spirit. And so, no matter what situation that rose in David's life, David was a worshiper, a praiser. So as men, another thing, and the last thing we're going to say, what we have to do, we have to look at as men, as fathers. God wants us to have those characteristics to be able to pass on to our children. Men, fathers, are the covering of our family. Not just in the natural, but also spiritually. Fathers show their sons how to love their wife. Fathers show their daughters how to be loved, or what type of love to look for. So in other words, as fathers, it's very important for us to be able to demonstrate love towards, not just towards ourselves, but more importantly towards others. When you see a man that beats his wife and they have children, that son is going to look at that's the way that he's supposed to treat his wife. Also, it's going to make it look like if my dad can do that to my mama, which is his wife, he can do that, the son can do that to his wife, but also he can do that to his sister. And so what we have to recognize that this is the issue that we're facing in this world today. And we have to talk about it. As long as it's swept under the rug, then people feel like it's okay. And not just the men, for them to get help to understand that that's not the proper way to demonstrate love, but also the women suffer in silence. And some of them, they come to church. I'm going to say that this is a little disclaimer. I guarantee you, if you look it up, we have devices, smartphones, and the internet very accessible in this day and time. I want each and every one of us to look up how much abuse that go on in the family related to the church. Right. There are many first ladies that'll sit there in their seat, suffering, knowing that their husband, the leader, is portraying a double life. Yes. Now, we as true believers, we don't know anything about that. We don't understand that, right? But it happens. And so, these are the type of people that we will be seeing either in the streets or when they come in here to our presence to visit or even to join. So we have to know that these are the kind of things that are going on. So for us to be able to expose it, so that way we can shed light for us to be able to help those people when they go through things. So understand, as men, as fathers, like I said, we are the covering. We are the protectors. God have us at the first line of defense when it comes down to our families. God wants us to seek Him and have our ear close to Him, for Him to talk to us when trouble is about to come our way when it relates to our family. Yes. God will not have us ignorant of anything. No. God will forewarn us, but unfortunately, a lot of us as men were not listening. And that's why a lot of times things happen and they catch us by surprise. But it don't catch God by surprise like He was trying to tell you.
Right.
And sometimes if God can't tell you when you're up, he'll tell you when you're down.
Yeah.
So God wants us as men to get our families back.
Right.
God wants us as men to quit going to the jail and start coming to the house.
Yeah.
God wants us as men to get out of the jail. And not just physically get out the jail, but spiritually get out the jail, emotionally get out the jail, psychologically get out the jail, financially get out the jail. There's a lot of males, there's a lot of fathers who are free, but they gamble their family's expenses.
Right.
They gamble their family money out, and they don't bring the money to the house. Why? Because they didn't spend it all either on gambling, on alcohol, drugs, or even in the streets with women.
Right.
So God want to break that cycle. But that's the reason why God has commissioned us to be helpers of one another.
Right.
But also, it's not the time for us to put down the people that are like that.
Right.
Because I'm not going to lie to you, you never know what a person's been through. You don't know what caused a person to go down that route. And I'm going to say it like this. Sometimes there are some people, we know smoking is not good for you.
Right.
We know drinking is not good for you.
Right.
It can harm you. But you see somebody that's in church and they go outside and they smoke. If you're not prayerful, if you don't use wisdom, there are some people that go out there and snatch the cigarette away from them. You're not supposed to let you going to hell. But you don't know what stress level that the person is dealing with. Now, I'm not advocating saying the smoking is right. I'm not saying that. But what we're saying that when we see things that's going on, that's an opportunity to befriend them. Because to be honest with you, all of us need prayer.
Yes.
And you never know what drove a person to that level.
Right.
And the thing is, that person survived. But what if you go to that situation, if you hear their story, there are some people that hear their story and be like, you know what, just cut off. I don't want to hear no more.
Right.
They can't handle it. If you can't handle hearing their story, what do you think about them living their story?
Right.
So this is the time for us to understand that God loves us enough to bring help. And he's bringing help in his house. So understand, God have us as the covering. God have us as men to be able to, supposed to seek him, cover our children, cover our families. The way that a girl, a daughter, understands what love is through her daddy. And I'm going to tell you this. I don't care what type of daddy that she has. Daughter loves her daddy.
Yes.
Regardless if he was not the perfect husband, daughter loves her daddy.
Yes.
And what hurts is when we hear or they hear that daddy being talked about. Sometimes through a hurt mother. It hurts, it's bothersome. She may understand that he may have been a horrible husband, but he still may be a great dad. So we have to understand, even though he may have hurt you, but you have to get the bitterness out of the situation.
Right.
And not just the daughter, but even the son. One of the things I often hear, and I hear it sometimes in the grocery store, and it's painful when I hear this mother say, I don't need no man in my life to raise my children. His daddy wasn't there when he was born, and he don't need to be in his life now. And so unfortunately, the woman that's bitter, she's trying to make her son to become a man in her own sight. But we're going to talk about that also later on. So we have to understand, men are the covers. God has the men that's supposed to be protecting our family, protecting our children, not hurting them.
Right.
So we're going to talk to the men first. The men, the fathers. Men, you give your children their DNA. You give your children their identity. Now, doing a little science, the females are made of XX chromosome. But the boys, the men, are made of XY chromosome. One X chromosome they get from the mothers. But what determines the sex of a child is not the mother, it's the father. The father has both the X and Y chromosome.
That's right.
And so when we look at it, the father has the seed of the child. The father has the seed and the mother has the womb. If you look at the womb is like the baby. And when you go to a hotel, the most important thing is not the bed, but it's the person within the bed. I guarantee you, if you go to a hotel and I'm staying right beside you, they ain't gonna change the rates. But let that be in somebody like Prince. Let that be in somebody like President Barack Obama. They're gonna jack up the rates. Why? Not because of the bed, but who's in the bed. Who's in the bed of the area. So the main thing we have to look at, the seed. The seed is important. But not just the seed is important, but who owns the seed. Who the seed comes from. When you look at it, that's why God allowed Jesus to be born of a virgin that was not touched by men. She was impregnated by the Holy Ghost.
That's right.
So when we look at the men give the children their character, their identity. The children learn about life through daddy.
That's right.
Like I said, it's not putting down mother. Mother's important, but it's not Mother's Day, it's Father's Day. Fathers are important in the lives of the children. Fathers help the children understand about life, living, wise counsel. God has blessed and instilled that into real fathers to give it to their children. Fathers will give the foundation, lay down the principles, but also even the discipline. Fathers would teach their fathers would teach their boys. Fathers would teach and increase the boys to help the boys become men. But unfortunately, those that are mothers who keep the children isolated from their dad, they think they're doing a good thing. But even though the father will help the boy to be increased to become a man, the mother will make the boy decrease to keep him a baby. Daddy is going to help the boy to become a man. But as long as that boy does not have access to his daddy, he's not going to stay a boy, he's going to stay your baby. The kids need daddy. The kids need the foundation that they come from. Some mothers will go through their emotions to raise a child, but daddy goes by purpose. Daddy talks about life. Daddy talks about what things that will help them in the future. That's the reason why when you look at all the time a woman would tell a guy to look at the table and get a piece of paper off the table. And the guy don't understand what she's saying. Wait a minute, I don't see that paper you talk about, but it's on the table. And the guy looking, overlooking, and then all of a sudden the woman goes right to the table to get that piece of paper. Why is that? Because the woman is seeing specifically the item that's on the table, but the man is looking at the whole table. If you notice, most girls, most women, most females, what do they talk about in the future? They talk about their wedding day. Most girls or most women will talk about their wedding or focus on their wedding, but men focus on the marriage after the wedding. And this is the way God made us, because we are helpers of one another. A true man and true woman that's before God, they are there to complement each other. not to hurt each other, not to go against each other. So it's important for us to allow the man to take the role of leading his family. And when you look at it, even when you look at men, most men, when you see a man or when you see a daddy cry, it gives a different emotion to the child. It does something different when they see daddy cry. Now when mama cry, it may, kind of alert them a little bit, but they know no matter what, everything gonna be all right. But when they see daddy cry, they lose hope. Now it depends on what daddy crying about.
Right. That's right.
Now it might be grief, it might be something. Now that's okay.
Right.
But when daddy cries, it seems like there's no more hope. All hope is gone. Why? Because if daddy, which is our head, our protector, if he feels hopeless, we in trouble. Like I said, fathers are the first line of defense. Fathers are the one that not only out there to listen to God, but also sacrifice their life. So understand, fathers. It's okay to shed a tear, but we don't shed a tear as if we're losing hope. But also in reverse, what better way to lead the child to God is to see daddy cry before God. See, when the child sees daddy cry before God, praying and praising God, we see daddy in a hopeless situation, but on the other hand, we see daddy's strength. We see daddy's source, where his strength comes from. So what that does, they help us to understand that we can become just like daddy and we seek the same God. So understand, it's important for us as fathers to take our leadership role, but also understand the importance that we are in the children's life. Also thinking about the roots. It's important for the fathers to keep the children abreast or alert on their family. Unfortunately, most mothers or most women, they're close to their family and they do what they're supposed to in teaching the children who the family is, who the uncles, the aunts, and all that. But sometimes when it comes down to the man's side, we don't do that. And then the children end up not knowing exactly where they come from. I'm going to say this disclaimer. Even if mother and father don't work out, it's still important to keep communication. So that way the children can keep in contact of where they come from. Now, say a little bit to the men. We're going to talk to the women. No matter how good of a mother you may be, you cannot fill the void of a man or a father. This is not to put anybody down, but just to keep you informed, because this is where you need to know in the house of God. We have different roles, different responsibilities. And no matter how good of a mother you may be, you still need a man active in that child's life. Now, it may not be the biological father. The biological father may not be present.
Right.
The biological father may no longer be with us. But still, it takes a man, maybe the uncle, maybe your brother, maybe somebody, maybe the church.
That's right.
But the father, the child still needs a man in the child's life.
Right. That's right.
In other words, men are needed in children's life.
Yes.
No matter how old the children are, a man is needed in that boy, especially boy's life. So you have to get the unforgiveness. If you see that ex-husband or whoever, if you see that he may have hurt you, but he still want to communicate with the child, you can't allow the child to be in the way between you, the child, and the child's father. Unfortunately, it's so many women that use the child as bait to get what they want from the father. And then when they can't give anymore, well, you're not going to see your child. It happens.
That's right.
Is it right? No, it's not right. But unfortunately, they feel because of their emotion, they feel like because he hurt me, I know how to hurt him. And they keep them isolated from their own child. And they think they're hurting the father, but in actuality, they hurt the father, but they making the child worse. Even looking at, well, that ain't your dad, he ain't never been there, I did all this, I did all that. And they try to plant a seed to bring a wedge between the child and the father. But I'm going to give you a disclaimer. What you don't realize, when you plant a seed that way, the child not going to grow up resenting the daddy. It's going to resent the mother.
Yes, there you go.
Why is that? Like the Bible tells us, you reap what you sow. In other words, even though that person may not be the ideal baby father,
Right.
but it's still your responsibility to honor.
Right.
Listen, I found out respect don't have to be earned. It's supposed to be given.
Yes.
Trust is supposed to be earned.
That's right.
Trust is earned, but respect is not. Respect is supposed to be given. If you don't believe it, I'm not going to say his name, but I guarantee you right now, let somebody say something foul or disrespectful about our current president. And guess what's going to happen? We will visit you in jail. Now, you might have talked about him before 2016. But even if you don't respect the person, you always respect the authority that they have.
That's right.
Whatever seat that they have.
That's right.
So look at it like this. You still respect their daddy. But also, I'm going to say it in reverse. The dad is still supposed to honor and respect the mother.
That's right. Amen.
So it goes both ways.
Right.
So that's the condition that we're in. We see a lot of dysfunctional families, and instead of keeping the business within the husband and wife, or the ex-husband and wife, the baby mama, the baby father, they spill it to the children. And now the children have to decide who they supposed to love the most.
Right. That's right.
And we oftentimes make children deal with adult situations.
Yes. Yes.
And that's why Johnny can't read, because he's stressed.
Yes.
That's why Johnny can't read, because he's dealing with stuff that actually he's not supposed to be dealing with.
That's right.
He was not designed to deal with that.
Right.
He's supposed to be taking care of school, he's supposed to be taking care of responsibility, he's supposed to be planning the rest of his life.
Right.
But unfortunately, because of the incompetency of some adults, he got to deal with mama and daddy fighting. I found this out. I found out what they're supposed to do is do like professional boxers. They can fight in the ring all they want. They be hitting each other below the belt. They be pulling on each other. But I found out real professional boxers, they actually friends.
Yes.
You see them after the match, you know, look, they fight and all that stuff. But after the match, what do? They come and hug each other and kiss each other.
Right.
In other words, it ain't personal.
No.
It's business.
It's just business.
It's business.
That's right. Yeah.
That blew me away. And so what we do, a lot of us, we don't keep the fight within the ring.
Right.
We take it out of the arena.
That's right.
And anytime there's a fight outside of the arena, it's actually illegal.
Yes. Yes.
And so what we're dealing with a lot of illegal activities in the home. And sometimes we screw it in within the church. So now God wants us to be able to help minister to the home. Get the home back the way that he originally made it. Regardless of your past.
Right.
Because there are some of us who have made mistakes. If there's anybody that never made a mistake, please raise your hand. Okay. Okay, so I guess how many of us have made some mistakes? We all have. And it don't have to be about baby mama or baby daddy.
No.
Some of us have loved the wrong one.
That's right.
Some of us have stolen from the wrong one. But we all have made some mistakes.
That's right.
So that's why God loves us enough to let us know that he wants to forgive us.
Yes.
Even when we deal with the consequences, he's still here to help us.
Yes.
So understand, we cannot, as women, we cannot keep a wedge between the child and the daddy because of our personal feelings. In other words, we got to get the bitterness out of our feelings. Get the bitterness out of the situation. Why? Because it's actually contaminating us. It's making us ineffective as a parent. It's making us ineffective as a believer. You hinder your ministry. You hinder your witness. Because I'm going to tell you like this. I don't care how you try to hide it. You can't hide spirits. No. Spirits always reveal themselves.
Yes, they do.
I don't care how you try to put on a smile. I don't care how you try to put on a front. You can't hide a spirit. Spirits don't sleep. Spirits always reveal itself. And a lot of times we can't withhold that spirit. Guarantee you. I can't stand Brother Landon. Let's say no. So I see him come. Somebody can hear it. Somebody can hear it. Why? Because we can't control our emotions.
That's right.
There was a song, Earth, Wind and Fire, that said, "Can't hide love."
Love, right.
You can't hide love, and you can't hide how you feel about somebody.
That's right.
So we have to get that out. Get it out of our spirit. Because it's actually poisoning to us. Like I said, it's making us ineffective as a parent, as a ministry, whatever. You have to get the forgiveness out. You have to let it go and understand that even in the midst of that situation, even in a mistake, some people have had a one-night stand with someone and they regret it. But even with that, don't allow that to define who you are. Your mistakes don't define who you are, but it's what you do through your mistakes. What you going to do after the mistake? Are you going to beat yourself up? Or are you going to wake up and do it again? Or are you going to receive God's forgiveness? Receive God's forgiveness. Think about the thief that was on the cross. It was two thieves that was on the cross when Jesus was on the cross. And one of the thieves said, "Remember me." And Jesus said, "You should be with me in paradise." He was a thief. Was he a preacher?
No.
He was a thief. He was a criminal. And his punishment was death. But even when he knew he was facing the inevitable, he said, "Remember me." He didn't ask him to be with him. He didn't ask for forgiveness. He just said, "Remember me." So sometimes, even when you feel overwhelmed, just tell Jesus, "Remember me. Remember me." So, with that, we have to, like I said, keep our business within a ring. Don't isolate your children from the parent. Vice versa. The father from the mother, or the mother from, the child from the mother, or the child from the father. You can't do that. And unfortunately, for those who, I mentioned earlier, for those who feel that they don't need a man to raise their boy. I don't care if you make that little boy have a little earring in his ear, which is not healthy. I don't care how you try to make him man up. You cannot effectively help or make your boy to become a man. I always say this, the best example is not what you tell a person, but what you show a person. And whenever I hear a young lady say that, and this is not graphic, this is just natural. But whenever I hear a young lady or mother say that she can help her boy to become a man, I always ask her, first and foremost, show him how to use the bathroom. Show him how to use the bathroom. If you can't stand up and use the bathroom, then you're disqualified. Talking about it ain't gonna help. Demonstrating, showing will. So unfortunately, because of the absentee of many fathers, because of the inactive, or they're absent, or they're not present, because they're not participating in the child's life, in the family's life. Unfortunately, we have a lot of inactive fathers in the home. Just like I used the illustration about women standing up to use the restroom, unfortunately, there's a lot of men that sit down in the home. And unfortunately, the home is functioning in an ungodly way, because now the weight has to be on the mother. Now the weight and the responsibility because of the inactive father in the home. And that's not God's will. That's not God's order. Men are supposed to what? Be the leaders, be the protectors, be the providers, be the ministers of the home. I always say it like this. Men are supposed to be the priests of the home.
Right.
And unfortunately, when I go to work, I see so many of the priests, the leaders, not in the home, but in the jail. And anytime you see the priest absent from the home, that means he's leaving the congregation abandoned. He's leaving the congregation uncovered. And what happens when you leave a school, a soil? What happens when you leave it exposed? There's an infection that happens. But God wants to bring some skin onto that situation. God wants the men to be helped and to be healed. But unfortunately, a lot of times, what we always say, a lot of times the society tells the boys to stand up and be a man. But unfortunately, a lot of times, we never been taught how to be a man. The opinion of people are from the media, from their personal feelings, instead of what God said. And God wants us to get back into His Word to find out what He said, what a real man is. In other words, getting it straight from the source. But we have to be able to, as men, we have to be able to be in opposition, but also be able to go back into our families, even to our baby mothers, and go back and apologize to them.
That's right.
We owe an apology to a lot of women. Most women hurt comes from a man. I'm saying it again. Most women hurt, regardless if they, no matter who the mother is or who the woman may be. She may be a first lady. She may be a judge downtown. She may be the woman that's in the streets. Most women hurt has come from a man. Now that man may be a father, may be a brother, may be an uncle. But unfortunately, most women hurt come from a man. And unfortunately, we don't go back and apologize. A lot of times we don't say, I'm sorry. We don't even tell them, I love you. I found this out, starting fact. I found out that more than 96% of men have never been told that they love, I love you by their dad to their face. More than 96% of men have never been told, I love you by their daddy, their biological daddy. Never been told. And so what happened, we walking around looking for love in all the wrong places. We searching for love, but don't know exactly what love looks like. We just go by that feeling of being needed. And that's not love. And unfortunately, we allow ourselves to be used, male or female, allow ourselves to be used. Why? Because we're looking for something that we never had. We think we have an idea because of what society says. And what we do, we equate love with physical love. And we think because we have a boy that say, I love you, the only way to show that love is through giving him some sex. And then we end up hurt because it's frustrating to us. Why? Because we're not getting that fulfillment. That was a disappointment. Because why? Because we are not being refilled. We already have a wound. We're not whole. And so what happened, you think maybe the next time I have sex with him, maybe I get that gratifying feeling. And then all of a sudden, it doesn't work out. And now you've given him something that was so precious to you, and now you feel like you're useless. You feel like there's no more good for you. You feel like you're disqualified from having the best because you have given yourself to someone else. But God wants you to be healed from that, because no matter what mistake you have had in the past, God can still forgive. God can still heal. And there's nothing too hard for God. So realize that God wants us to give that to Him. God wants us to give all of ourselves to Him. And when they come down to a woman that's having a desire to have a man or a husband, we can't rush a man who is not complete in the assembly line. There's a dishwasher that we have at work, and it's a slow process. You put the dish in the beginning, and it goes through the machine. You can't see what's going on unless you raise up the curtain. But when you raise up the curtain, it actually stops the process. You have to let it take its course. And so what happened, when you go to the end, you see the dish coming from afar. But the most important part of that machine is not at the beginning, it's not at the middle, it's at the end. Because at the end, there's something called the final rinse. And what it does, it makes sure that the temperature is up to kill every bacteria, everything that was missed in the first or second process. But unfortunately, because there are some young ladies that may be in a rush, they're trying to hurry up and get that man, and he's not finishing the process of God making him. For those that know how to cook, what happens if you eat raw eggs or raw chicken? Chances are you set yourself for salmonella or E. coli. In other words, the food has to be cooked properly to make sure that it's good for the consumption of your body. And so the same thing we must look at pertaining to love, pertaining to a man. Make sure that he's complete, not by your standards, not by your opinion, but through the Word of God. Because God wants to prevent you from being or having some type of dysfunctional situation. He's trying to help you avoid those situations. But also, even as men. Matter of fact, I'm going to say this. The other day I went to Walmart, Friday I went to Walmart, and I was at the pharmacy. And I saw something that caught my attention, probably overlooked it many years. There was a sign right at the door of the pharmacy, and it said, "Do not enter." In the pharmacy, do not enter. In other words, you have to be licensed or employed there to actually go in. Even if you work at Walmart, certain people can only go inside that pharmacy. So that lets us know a lot of times there is a cutoff. There's a period we need to just stay there and wait, because the medicine is supposed to be coming to us. We don't go get the medicine. The medicine comes to us. So that the same way you pertain to searching for love or looking for a husband or looking for a wife, we have to wait on God to present them to us. And last but not least, regardless of who your father was or how he was, realize that God can always bring a substitute. The first Adam in Genesis, the original Adam, failed. The original Adam sinned. The original Adam messed up for all humanity. But what did God do? He brought the second Adam. The second Adam, Jesus Christ. To be able to be the propitiation for our sins. In other words, where the first Adam messed up at, the second Adam cleaned it up. And the second Adam was better than the first Adam. So even if your biological father was not there, even if your biological father ran away, God will often bring a stepfather. I always call it a step-up father. God will always bring somebody to help you with your child. God will always bring somebody to help you along the way. Like I said, it may be a step-up father. It may be somebody in the church. Maybe a male mentor to help you and your child. But also even with the children, especially the boys. You may not have had your father in your life, You may not understand what being a man is. But the only way you're going to find out what a man really is if you come to the church. And what we always talk about, talk. Nothing wrong with asking questions. Those that, Pastor Logan, a great example of a father. And also, I'm going to say this. Pastor Logan, not just an example of a father, but what people don't really catch when he speaks about his father, which was my grandfather. He was not the ideal husband, but Pastor Logan could have been just like his dad. Pastor Logan grew up in an abusive home. But look at the results of Pastor Logan and Sister Logan through their children. In other words, Pastor Logan broke that curse. For those that feel like, well, I didn't have an example or I didn't have it in my home, he's a you know what I'm saying? He's a great example of breaking that curse, regardless of how your father was or who your mother was. He's a great example of breaking that curse and having the ideal family that you deserve.
That's right. That's right.
You may be seated.
That's right.
He could have used the way his father was, my grandfather, as an excuse.
Right.
He could have. But he wouldn't have had the longevity of not just being with Sister Logan, because they don't tolerate each other. They love each other.
Right.
They have a relationship. And they, matter of fact, they said the other day, it seemed like they fall in love all over again. The longer they're together, the more they know about each other. That's not tolerating. And Bishop is going to be 58 years, going to be married, 58 years. That's love. I'm pretty sure every day was not a bed of roses. But even what he went through, as a father, he's still there to support his wife. He still shows chivalry to his wife. And because of him showing chivalry to his wife, when he needed it this week, what did she do? She responded based upon what he had instilled in her. So in other words, Pastor Logan was getting back what he put in. He made a deposit, and when it was time to withdraw, she gave it to him with interest. And so, just to let you all know, you can break that curse, regardless of how bad it was. But we're going to pray for him. Love him. But like I say, respect. That doesn't mean that you trust.
Right.
You may not trust Daddy.
That's right.
Daddy might have used your credit. Daddy might have stole from you. We know some that have.
Right.
But just because they have, that doesn't mean, well, if I forgive him, that means I gotta trust him. No. Forgiveness is for you.
Right.
Forgiveness is for your heart, for your emotions, because if you look at it, if you still holding on, if there's something that you're holding on to, God is letting you know, even right now, to forgive. Release this. And understand, when you release it to him, to God, release it and forgive him, no matter what it was. When you forgive him, you still use wisdom. Because, like I said, just because you love someone don't mean you trust them. You respect them, and some people you have to love from afar.
Yes.
How you doing? I'm glad. I don't want to talk about it. You got that right. Don't let them, well, I'm your dad, I'm your mom. No. You got to respect me as a person.
Yes.
And so when you give that to God, when you release that to God, then God can help you to break that curse, to be healed. Because if you don't give to God, the unfortunate thing about it, you can pass it on to your children.
Right.
It's so many people. They love God. But they haven't given their hurt to God. And what happened, it contaminates every relationship that they're in. Not just boyfriend and girlfriend, husband and wife relationship, but even relationship with co-workers, even relationship with family, whatever it is. The church, every relationship, it contaminates your ministry, and if you're not careful, it can contaminate the church. But God wants you to give everything to Him. Give it to Him once and for all. He loves you enough. And like I said, great example, no matter what it looks like, no matter what situation have come up, whatever family you grew up in, God can still forgive. God can still help you. God can be their father to the fatherless. God can be their mother to the motherless. You may not have a close relationship with your parents, but God can help you. And no matter what, just make sure that you do the right thing. You do the right thing. It's the most important thing. You're responsible for what you do. And no matter what they do, you put them in the hands of God. So, whatever situation that you grew up in, no matter if it was painful or joyous, know that you can give it to God. And know that even what the devil meant for evil, God can turn it for your good. Realize that we know no matter what situation that we grew up in, because we can't control who we grow up with. We can't control who our family is. But even in the midst of, like you were saying earlier, God made us for that. God made us to overcome. And realize even in Romans 8:28, for we know all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord and are called according to His purpose. Even in Psalms 34, it tells us many of the affliction of the righteous, but the Lord delivered them out of all. So we have to realize no matter what situation that we grew up in, God can help us. And for those who need prayer, you're welcome to come to altar at this time. And my prayer is for all of us as men. Let's help get our families back. Amen. Let's help minister, not ridicule, but love on our family. And unfortunately, the devil don't want us to have that. The devil does not want that. But know that God wants healing for your family. God wants healing for all of our families. No matter what situation we grew up in, there's nothing too hard for God. I've even seen where there have been fathers that was abandoned by their child. I've seen, matter of fact, some years ago, I had a father talk to me because he was, he was not in his child's life. He had ran away from his child. He didn't want to, at one point, he didn't want to deal with the child. Sometimes because of the child's mother. But he did not want to deal with the child because of the mother. And he was regretting that. And I'm like, man, now, how and why is he coming to me? But what I saw was I was representing his son. And so it was my responsibility to talk to him, and he was my daddy. Because I had to look at what if somebody was talking to my daddy, and my daddy and I were in the same situation. What would I want that person to tell my daddy? So I had to talk to him as if I was his son. And so after everything's over, it's something else to see a grown man cry. A grown man cry. So with that, there may be situations you may have dealt with. You may not have had an active father. You may not have had a dysfunctional stepfather. No matter what, God can use that to be able to help you become the lady or the man that He wants you to be, but also even with that, for you to be able to help somebody else that's in that same situation, or that will be in that same situation. So, if there's no one that wants prayer, we can ask him to stand at this time. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you right now, God. Thank you, Lord, for your awesomeness. We come to you right now, God. Thank you, Lord, for this day, God, that you have set aside for us to come together, God, to commemorate God, Father, God. God, we ask, Lord, to help us, God, to be the men that you call for us to be, God. Help us, God, to lead our families, God. Help us, God, to be responsible, God. First and foremost, God, to be obedient to you, God. Help us, God, to be able to take the instructions that you have for us, God, to be the men that you have for us to be, God. And help us, God, to lead our families to you right now, God. Not just by what we say, God, but more importantly, how we live right now, God. In the name of Jesus, Lord, if there's anything that we said, done, thought, felt, God, there's anything that we have not represented you properly, God, we ask you, Lord, to forgive us right now, God. In the name of Jesus, God, we ask you, Lord, to forgive us, God, and make us whole, God. God, even if there's any hurt, God, from our own fathers, God, help us, God, to give everything to you, God. Help us, God, to break that curse right now, God. And help us give everything to you, every hurt, every pain, every discomfort, every mistrust, everything, God, to give everything to you once and for all. In the name of Jesus. Lord, even those secret questions, God, that those may have in their heart right now, God, they may have in their head right now, God. God, we speak, God, to even help them, God. Even if you don't give us the answers, God. God, we have you, God, ask you, God, to help us, God, to receive the peace, God. Even in the question that we don't understand, God. Even in the whys and all that, God. Help us, God, to even make peace, God. Even with the unanswered questions right now, God. In the name of Jesus. And say about everything you stand for, about every problem and every confusion right now. In the name of Jesus. And Lord, we speaking, God, that you help all of us, God. The men, the women, the fathers, the mothers, God, the children, God. Help all of us, God, to use this, God, as a testimony, God, of what you can do, God. Your restoring power, your healing power, your forgiving power right now. In the name of Jesus. And Lord, we speak, God, even for any women, God, that have been hurt by any men, God. God, we ask, Lord, to help us, God. Help us, God, to reach out to them, God, and ask for forgiveness, God. Help us, God, to be able to give back, God. Help us, God, to be able to say I'm sorry, God. Help us, God, to be able to give back to those that we have hurt, God, and make amends, God. And God, even if they don't receive, God, help us to do what you help us to do, God. And let's go out, God, and do our part right now, God. In the name of Jesus. Lord, we ask, Lord, that anyone, God, who beating up on themselves, God, for past sins, past situations, God, we ask, Lord, to help them, God, to give all of that to you right now, God. The blame, the discomfort right now, God. The shame right now, God. God, whatever past that the person had, God, God, we speak, God, that we give everything to you once and for all, God. And God, we even speak, God, and we encourage, God, even the stepfathers right now, God, the step-up fathers, God. God, we thank you for them, God. God, when they may not get the recognition that they're rightfully due, God, and we appreciate them, God. Let them know that they are loved, God. God, they filled in the gap that the biological father was not there, God, but they stepped in, God. You sent somebody to step in, God. Step in place, and we thank God for them right now, God. In the name of Jesus. And Lord, we can speak, God, in a special manner, God. Those who may be grieving for the loss of their own father, God. Comfort them, be with them right now, God. God, let them know, God, that you can be the father to the fatherless, God. And God, help them, God, to reflect on the good times, God. Help them, God, to reflect, God, on the memories, God. And God, let them know, God, that they did not lose their father, God. Because you don't lose anything when you know where they at, God. And they are still in our hearts right now, God. God, help them, God, even through this process, God. This may be an uncomfortable season to them, God. But God, be with them like never before, God. Encourage them, God. And send them around people, God, that's going to speak word of encouragement, God. They're going to speak positive things, God. And not negative things and not discouraging things. Right now, in the name of Jesus. And Lord, we thank you, Lord, even for the fathers, God. We thank you, Lord. We hold up even the fathers that may be grieving even at this time, God. There are some that, God, have lost their children, God. God, they're even uncomfortable in this situation, in this day and time, God. God, we speak, God, that you comfort them right now, God. Let them know, God, they've done the best they could, God. And God, we thank you, God, for them being the fathers, God, of your own heart right now, God. But more importantly, God, we thank you, Lord, for being our ultimate Father right now, God. They have guided, they have accepted us, God, and through our past and the sea of forgiveness right now, God. In the name of Jesus, we thank you, Lord, for everything you've done, everything you're going to do right now. In Jesus' name we pray, we say amen, amen, amen. Amen.